I'm still learning this live thing. Something just popped up in there. But anyway, listen, 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 listen. I'm sitting outside my kids' school, waiting on them to. Oh, waiting on my kids to get out of school. So I'm just sitting, and I forgot I was supposed to do the video yesterday. And I was the other day I was supposed to explain why I kept having kids. After my first child or whatever, y'all know, I was diagnosed with HIV when I was now 8 months pregnant. And then 3 years later I had another child, and then 6 years later, let me see, Big Bop is 15, LJ is 10. Yeah, 6 years later I decided to have another baby. Uh, so I know y'all get tired of me yarning. Like, I literally get tired of yarning too, but it's like I can't really help it, y'all. I really be trying to not yarn, but it just keep happening, right? But listen, the first child, I was already HIV positive. There was nothing I could do about it. But they gave me what's called AZT. And they checked my viral load and my CD4 and all of these things. At that time, I didn't know what none of that meant. All I knew was get that baby that AZT. Well, while I was pregnant, so take that AZT. And then once I had her, I knew get her that AZT every, I think it was every 8 hours. Every 6 or 8 hours. I can't remember. It's so many years ago, right? So I gave my baby. I gave my baby that. So when she was born, they gave me well when I was pregnant, when I was in labor, they gave me IV with AZT. When I had her, I had a natural birth. When I had her, they wind up taking her away, giving her HIV test. They gave her the test and she was negative. So then in 3 months, I had to come back and give her another test. Third test, negative. 6 months, negative. Baby was fine. No more AZT. And for me, at that time, I was not on any medication. When I first found out I was HIV positive, my CD4 was in the 7 or 800s when I first got diagnosed. And I always been undetectable from jump. I ain't know no other way. That's what I learned 18 years ago, what undetectable me was. So along the way, kept I kept having unprotected sex at the end of the day. Being pregnant. Being HIV positive, I kept having unprotected sex because I didn't like condoms. But I was, at that time, I was only with one person, and we both was HIV positive, so it really didn't matter to me. I really didn't care, right? They didn't care either. So keep in mind, when I first was diagnosed, my response to being HIV positive when they told me that was, I can't have no more kids. I wanted to know if I can still have kids and my kids be okay if I had kids. So if you think about my response to them telling me, Trivia, you're HIV positive, my response was, I can't have more kids. So it should make you feel no type of way, or make you think like, why did she have more kids after her first child, after her diagnosis? Because she wanted more kids. And I wasn't about to let HIV stop me. I wasn't going to let HIV stop me from having more kids, because I desired a lot of kids. Let me tell y'all why I desired a lot of kids. Growing up, it was only 3 of us. I was the oldest. I had a little brother and a little sister. Right? There's 3 of us growing up. My mother had 2 sisters. One of her sisters died when she was maybe even before 10. Her sister died. And her older sister was older than her. So my aunt has 3 kids, right? But they all were born way before me. I have no, well, on my, like, I'm just saying my mother and her mother's siblings, right? I have cousins and stuff like that, aunties and from, well, I actually have cousins from the great auntie side, right? But I never really got it. I never really got to know any of them. I got a cousin named Misha. Me and her trying to build a relationship right now. But bottom line is, as far as me and my mother's bloodline, it was just three of us. So I wanted to have a lot of kids because I wanted a big family. I always saw a lot of people with big families, and they were just really close. I wanted a close-knit family. So that's originally why I continue to have kids, because it always was my desire to have more kids. I wanted a lot of them. I really wanted 10. And I wanted them 10 kids to have 10 kids, and them 10 kids to have. I'd be the old grandmother. I'd be the old grandmother sitting around with all these grandkids and kids and great-great-grandkids. So years later, I got pregnant again, and I said I was gonna have my daughter. When I told everybody I was pregnant, even the father, nobody said nobody wanted me to have her. Everybody was like, I wouldn't give her a fighting chance, because they didn't understand what HIV was. It only had been a few years with me being HIV positive, so nobody really knew what to expect. I'm thinking back, as I think back on 13, as I look back on it, they may have thought I was going to die or something, or they may have thought that I was lying about my daughter being okay. So maybe that's why their response was, why would you have another child? They didn't understand. They didn't understand nothing about HIV. So now years later, I can see why they respond to the way that they responded, because they didn't understand. They wasn't yet educated about it, and I really wasn't. I was educated a tad bit. I didn't know a lot, but I knew enough that if I had a baby, the baby would not be positive. So everybody was against me having her, but I went through that pregnancy really with support, but not understanding. It's a difference. Support, like, yeah, I'm gonna support you because I love you. You know what I'm saying? But I understand the decision that you making. No, I had no understanding from nowhere other than at the clinic. Um, they knew my desire and how bad I wanted to continue having kids. But family, co-workers, old childhood friends, nobody could understand why would you have a baby and you're HIV positive. Makes no sense at all. But it made a lot of sense to me. I knew that God was going to make sure my child was okay. And I was going to prove to everybody that it was a God. If they didn't know God at first, they're going to learn this day. They're going to learn this week when I had her. Well, that year. So I continued on my pregnancy after I was told I shouldn't. My daughter will be 16 next month, and she's perfectly fine. Maybe she get on my nerves, but health-wise, she's fine. And 6 years later, I decided I wanted to have another child. And at that time, I had got an implant. Y'all know that's a birth control. I got it in my arm. After I had Shatavia, that's my second child after diagnosis. I had an implant in my arm. I started to want to have a baby again. I started to want to have a baby again. So I took the implant out of my arm. I put this app on my phone to see when I was ovulating. I wanted to know when I was ovulating so I get busy, get cracking, baby. Get crack. Want to get it cracking. I think it took me 6 months to conceive, right? Because it took me 6 months to get pregnant, right? So I prayed every day at the same time for 6 months. I prayed every day at the same time for 6 months to get pregnant. And God granted me that. And it was a son. And he's fine. I went through the same process, same steps. I was still undetectable all those years. Once they did my numbers, I was undetectable. My Valo, my CD4, everything was fine. But I had to take medication for the baby throughout all of my pregnancies. Listen, women that's HIV positive can still have babies. Healthy babies. Long as you are undetectable. Long as you do what they tell you to do. As long as you take care of yourself. I don't know what type of medication they have right now, but I'm sure it's something. I don't know if it's still AZT. Maybe that's some research that I can do. When I go to the doctor, I can ask, and then I'll come back and do another video. But years ago, it used to be called AZT. That's what we took when we was pregnant, so that it can prevent the baby from contracting HIV from mother to child, passing it, right? Question, how did I don't see you. Where you at? Okay, there you go. How did you track unprotected sex? with a man. Yes, unprotected sex. And I always say it like, I used to get mad when people ask me that, right? But now as I'm getting older and I'm getting more educated in this, I'm starting to understand, because you want to know. Duh, you ask because you want to know. But I try to make it simple as simple can be when I answer questions like that, because at the end of every day, it is because I chose to have sex without a condom. That's why I'm HIV positive. That was a decision that I made. My partner did. No, don't do that. We're not doing that. Don't be sorry. It's okay. And listen, the reason why I'm telling you don't be sorry is because I made a conscious decision to have unprotected sex, knowing that it was a thing called HIV in the world. I knew about HIV, but I didn't know about HIV. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it happened to me, but I chose that. Even if the person that I was sleeping with, even if he knew he had it or not, I can't even think about that part. I only can think about the part I played in it. I still chose to let him go inside of me without a condom on, or even to have a woman's condom. I didn't do none of that. So I gotta take responsibility for my own actions. That's how I got HIV, because I chose to have unprotected sex. And that's why I always be telling people, like, and I was having unprotected sex with my boyfriend of years. Which leads me to the next thing before I go. It's easy to get HIV, y'all. It's not hard. And the reason why I say it's easy, because a lot of us that get HIV get it from our bed partners. We get it from the person we have been with for years. We get it from our husbands. We get it from our baby daddies. We get it from our dips. We get it from our sad niggas. Like, whoever you are the most comfortable with and y'all having sex unprotected and they sleeping with somebody else, easily can happen. Or not even sleeping with somebody else. Maybe they just have it. They could, listen, it could be this easy, right? Sometimes it's nobody's fault some of us get HIV. It's nobody's fault at all, other than having unprotected sex, right? But we want to blame somebody. It'd be like a blame game. Like, oh, he gave me HIV, or she gave me HIV, you want to blame somebody. No, we ain't blaming nobody, because you should have used condom. But look at it this way. What if the person you sleeping with, y'all been sleeping around for the last let's say 1 year, and he finds out that he's HIV positive? He never knew he had it, though. He never knew at all. And then you got it too. And y'all got it. You got it from him. He never knew he had it. So how could you be mad at him? Because he didn't know. Y'all not using condoms. You see what I'm saying? This is why it's so good when you meet people. When you meet people and you start having sex with people, when you start thinking about sex, y'all should have these type of conversations to go both and get tested to know your status, to know where you at. So that when you do start having sex with them, if you choose not to use a condom, you safe. Maybe from HIV, probably. Other STDs you may get, but at least to know. How about that? To know is better than not to know what you're dealing with. It's so important. It's so important. We think about the baby aspect to it. Like, okay, somebody HIV positive and they having a baby. That's crazy. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. But what about all these people that's sleeping around with so many other different people that's HIV positive, and then they got a baby mama that's at home pregnant with HIV, and then he's sleeping with Sarah down the street. And Sarah don't know that he's HIV positive, but she know that he got a baby mama down the street that's pregnant. We got to get this stuff. It's very, 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 very important. I hope this has made sense. Somebody asked me to do this video, so I tried my best to do it. Let me answer these questions. Thank you. Is it any other videos or any other topics in regards to HIV you will want me to? I don't know how to get this off. I don't know. Is there any other videos? I know dating with HIV is like a hot topic. Everybody wanna know about the dating with HIV, but what parts of dating with HIV? Is it the sex part about dating with HIV, or like how do I disclose? I think I did a video about how do I disclose my status with dating. Is anything else pertaining to dating with HIV would y'all like for me to talk about? I am very open right now, and I will get around to it. But I hope this video has helped somebody with me explaining why I continue to have kids knowing that I was HIV positive, because I wanted to. And I know, and I believe God. I believe that he would make sure that my daughter is okay and my son. So that's why I made that choice. I didn't doubt not one time that they would be positive. I had all the faith in the world of what the doctor said, because if I felt like if I can have a baby at 8 months, if I can get diagnosed with HIV at 8 months and have my baby at 9 months and she don't have it, and she was inside of me the whole entire pregnancy, I can only imagine what would happen if I find out when I'm 6 weeks pregnant all the way up into 9 months, the baby has a better chance with being negative. And that's why, another reason why it's good to know your status as a woman that may become pregnant. Because if you, everybody wasn't lucky like me that found out they was HIV positive and had a healthy baby. Some people had babies that's not healthy because they did not know. They found out late, too late, and by the time they found out, it already spread to the baby. You know, so we gotta take that in mind too. We gotta keep that in consideration too. It's deeper than just us. You know, it's other people that's attached to this. I'm so sleepy, y'all. Y'all, thanks for listening to my video. Y'all enjoy y'all day. I'm gonna go give me some sleep.